Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another PGR reaction and Happy New Year! This will be the first video of the new year, and if you're watching this on Patreon a day early, well, be quiet. I mean, you guys get it early, so shut up. But yeah, this is actually a new year of videos, and I'll be doing more videos of PGR and other content more often. If you haven't seen my Catharsis Direct, Nintendo Direct parody that explains everything I'll be doing this next year, go give that a watch before this or after this, and you get to see all the extra stuff I'll be putting out, including more reactions more times a week. I'm planning on doing a lot this year, so I hope you're all here with me, and either way, I need to listen to Dust. And what a way to reign in the new year, reacting to something that has been on my wait list for months at this point, and I continuously forget to get to. I literally thought I had reacted to this one already, but apparently not. I must have just decided not to do it one day and gone with something else, but I digress. I have not listened to this one for long enough, so without further ado, let's go! We getting a little video with this one too? Might just be like a picture or something, I guess. But a video credit. Maybe? This is quite the introduction. It's been a while since we've gotten this mode, but we can talk about that afterwards. I'm just waiting for it to kick in. There it is. Ooh, okay. It's exactly what I thought was gonna happen at that drop. Whew. Damn, GhostFinal. God, it's such a good pulsating bass. What a kick pattern. Just straight on the 4. But man, that's resonating. Very pumpy sidechain on that mix. This is just GhostFinal in his Darude Sandstorm era. I love this. A lot of similar synths being used even. Ooh. I thought it was going to kick back into using the 4 on the floor again. This song is constructed in a very non-standard way, and I'm kind of vibing with it. I mean, even the visuals are non-standard. Oh yeah. Let's go. I'm actually really excited to talk about the mode that this song is written in. It's been a hot minute since we've heard this. This part of the world has not been influenced in music I've listened to recently. Ooh. He's moving the voices between the ears a little bit, using that stereo space. Not too aggressively, it's pretty subtle, but it's like floating around in like the front center area, between the left and right. A lot of room. I really like that, like, really drivey, that, like, bass in there. It's very aggressive. So I actually enjoyed this song a lot. Like I had mentioned, it had reminded me a little bit of Darude and like some of the synths that they used, and it's like, okay, cool. But I don't believe that Darude used the mode that this song was written in. So for those of you who haven't heard me talk about modes in music before, this might be a new experience, but this is a variation of a Phrygian mode. And a Dorian scale. It's actually an Egyptian scale known as the gypsy scale. It's what you think of when you think Egypt stereotypical, like the sound that you always get in like Hollywood movies and stuff. For example, I'll play it real quick for you. That's kind of, you know, right there. You can tell that that's what the song is in. And with how it's balanced, it has a very exotic feel, and that's why it's so popular and why, of course, Hollywood decided to gravitate towards it when they were writing songs that were supposed to invoke the feeling of a far-off land. Especially as that became more of a thing in Hollywood, they didn't really know exactly what to go for, but they did know how to write music for it. For a little bit of music theory history here, the actual mode is Dorian mode, like the original mode that would be known to be written in Egypt and surrounding areas was standard Dorian. So it would be kind of the same thing, but basically all white keys starting at D. Very different, right? It still sounds kind of weird from what we're used to knowing in the West, but it's not nearly as like fantastical. You know, it doesn't have that far off quality. But by introducing a bunch of black keys, you introduce that dissonance that makes it feel more mysterious, and you get that standard feel in that main scale, and you end up with that more looming quality in the other variation of the scale. So the gypsy scale is definitely more popular to invoke that sound in people's minds these days, but traditionally standard Dorian on all white keys is what people tended to write in that area. That has of course changed a lot since, you know, way back then, because every single culture has now shared its inspirations and there's a bunch of crossover between music. But if you think stereotypically, that's kind of how things went. And the vocals in this do a lot of that as well, because yet again, kind of the stereotype we're used to is just hearing vocalizations, and that, yes, was a thing standard in their songs. Vocalizing has always been a thing in music and not really attaching lyrics to it. But especially because we just were not used to it. A lot of our vocalizing was done more of an operatic sort of way and just runs on a standard scale. And having vocalizations done in that gypsy scale, again, adds to that whole mysterious mystique edge to the music, and it just feels really nice to listen to. So having that in here makes a lot of sense, especially for a world that is, I am supposing at this point of this song happening, fairly new, if not brand new to players. So it just makes you you feel like, ooh, where are we going? What are we doing? What mystery do we have to solve here? What's the story? It makes you want to unfold that. Even if you haven't been conditioned to feel that feeling because of Hollywood, it's kind of reached its tendrils around the world, and you always kind of get that vibe out of it now. I think even a lot of Bollywood films utilize that sort of concept and that sort of stereotype straight up in their own movies. Like, they just kind of accepted and ran with it, and that's worked out for them great. But enough of the nerdy theory stuff, more on my personal opinions here. I really had a fun time listening to this one just because of all that nerd stuff, but also because of the overall mix in here. It was actually really like central. Like, there wasn't too much going around, moving around in the ears, except for those vocals like I had mentioned in the reaction. The song itself was actually pretty neutrally mixed. So this must have been pretty early on into GhostFinal trying to figure out what sound they were going to use for this game and like how they were going to approach it and what was and wasn't going to be okay maybe with the producers, like how far could they go. And of course you're going to improve over time as a musician no matter what. So there's a bunch of variety and changes that can and will happen in that time. But it's kind of weird but also kind of neat to hear a song so neutrally mixed from somebody I've come to know as having this gigantic dynamic range in their mix. And again, not a bad thing. It's, if anything, it's kind of a learning experience getting to see where somebody came from and where their original work was standing before they've gotten to the more recent stuff that I've listened to before. It's like finding your new favorite band and then going back to their first album to see what they sounded like at the very beginning and how goofy and amateurish that sound probably was, and then comparing that to what they became. And it might be something completely different. You might not necessarily even like it. In this case, I'm lucky, and I do. I like the sound. It still GhostFinal, but it was definitely a different approach to overall production here, and that's just really neat to get to experience. But I think I've yapped and nerded out plenty on this one, so thank you all so very much for watching. Like I said, if you have not seen the Catharsis Direct and you want to see all the new stuff I'll be doing this year, please go watch that video and let me know what you think, and hopefully you're excited for all the stuff I've got coming out this year, including more PGR reactions more often. And of course, if you have any other songs you want me to get to from this game or any other game, I'll have plenty more time to get to them this year than I have in the past, so it's almost a guarantee I'll get to basically everything eventually. And otherwise, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!